I have learned for the children, and since we all have a responsibility towards them. So I will share my insights, what I understand and what I observed from during my study. And then the actual event wherein the children and the respective guest speakers will start coming in. So that's how we are trying to phrase this. So in short, boring part first and then the actual funs to start. So I'll start with this Assemblies of God. I did a study in 2007 and found that at least half and possibly over 2/3 of Christian young people will step away from Christian faith while attending a college or a university. Another study conducted last year by a group called Faith It, they find 70% of youth stop attending church when they graduate from high school. The good news is, nearly a decade later, about half of them return to church. The bad news, half didn't. So we lose them in college, right? Wrong. On the contrary, as per the study by New Leaf Publishing Group in 2009, church youth are already lost by the time they reach college. Youth are actually lost in their hearts and minds in elementary, middle and high school. Which means we must do a better job reaching to the children. There are many interconnected reasons. So many different studies have conducted and analysis has been done. What I am listing here is 3 key reasons so that we understand why this is happening. And then I'll give what we can do to reverse this trend. So let me start with why we lose young ones. And one of the reasons, first one, is their relationship with God is diluted. So there is a gap in relationship with God and children, and this manifests with lack of belief or having a shallow faith. During the studies on why youth left the church, you will be surprised to hear 1/4 of the survey says, the faith and teaching I encountered at church seem rather shallow. Or 1/3 of young ones said they feel like they can't ask life's most pressing questions in church. 23% of youth said, I have significant doubts about and have some troubling unanswered questions about faith. To begin with, many of them never truly had a conversation experience with God, because we might have failed to explain them what it really means to follow Jesus. So you would have tried your best to pass on, I feel very good about God. And you want them to feel really, really good about the goodness about God. So we tend to teach our children what we believe. But the church hasn't made it a priority to teach kids why we believe what we believe. Most churches spend a great deal of time teaching Bible stories, discipleship, Jesus' message, prophets, and so on and so forth. But perhaps the essential of Christian faith could have got neglected. When our kids leave home to school and friends, they leave this manufactured community. And as a church, we are not teaching them how to relate our faith out in the real world. We are simply ending up encouraging them to be nice or love Jesus. Eventually, when they leave home, they realize that they can be nice and loving and get the same principles from life coach or a friend or a volunteer or a motivational speaker. Eventually, church loses out to a much greater appeal. So children then jump at the given chance. Can you blame them? Are they prepared to relate Bible stories to practical world out there? Children can attend Sunday school for years, and then people in school ask them tricky questions about faith and they get embarrassed without answers. This includes grappling with hard questions like, why does God allow suffering? Would a good God really send people to hell? How is Bible different than other scriptures, as all seem to have good moral points? And other such questions. In this very church, I am aware people grappling with questions. One of the questions came to me was, not now, some time back, what happens to my pets if they die? Will they come to heaven? Now it may sound silly, but for that person it is very important aspect of their life. Recently, in my classes which I take, I got questions. And one of the questions is like, what about those innocent tribes who didn't get to hear the gospel? Very fair questions. Are we preparing them biblically way to answer them? So this leaves children facing hard questions with no biblical answers to set their doubts to rest. And then the world out there, agnostic and atheists, they try to fill those void with worldly popular answers. With no foundation, children are pulled in. Forget then standing up for faith. These questions will start putting doubts in their minds. And if we tend to believe our kids are too young to know deeper meanings, then I have bad news for you. Every single minute, 4.5 million YouTube videos gets watched. Every single minute, 4.5 million Google searches are being done. Every single minute, 390,000 apps get downloaded. Our children are living in a world bursting and bombarded with unthinkable amount of information every single minute. And our children, with this information explosion all around, are far ahead of what we were at that age. They are more informed and hence more curious than we are, or we were at same age. When we tenderly treat our children at church, someone actually treats them intelligently outside. The agnostic and atheist out there challenge their intellect with deep thoughts of questions and seeding a doubt, and we have left them out unarmored. When winter comes, I see the mother ensure their children wear jumpers even though they are rebellious. No, you have to wear it to keep themselves warm. And we armor them against this cold and cough. Friends, in the world out there in these times, even worse than cold and cough is that cold spiritual sense awaiting to attack our kids, and we are failing to armor them. So these are the points we were talking about, not showing what we believe, I believe, no relating stories to practical world, and not arming them with